for this question, a lot of people, even though they feel like they need a lawyer, and obviously they're calling us, but the real question is, why is it so important to hire a disability insurance attorney that specializes in ERISA claims? And for this purpose of this question, I'm talking about ERISA because there's obviously non-ERISA claims, which are the ones that are not provided by the employer, and a lot of what we say will be the same, but ERISA is even more complicated, I think, than the private disability claim. So let's go back and forth, just talk about a few reasons about why you think it's real important to have a lawyer.
I think, number one, the stakes are higher from a legal standpoint. In that you're only going to, your initial presentation of your claim, if there's a denial of benefits, most companies only give you one level of appeal, and you only get that one chance to be able to establish disability or prove enough, support and evidence in your claim that if you end up in a courtroom, you have a stone's throw chance of overcoming a really unfair burden of proof in most courtrooms. So there's so much more risk. Many times we'll see denial letters, the appeal and denial, and it'll be done by an attorney who had good intentions but doesn't handle disability claims. And the appeal is, a little bit of argument, no new substantive information, no extra stuff from doctors to support. And when the insurance company upholds that denial, how many times have we gone, if we could have done this type of exam, gotten you to this, and our hands are now tied by that. So I think it's just the knowledge of the fact that this area of the law is so different from what most attorneys even understand, trial and fair play in litigation, that it becomes really important to hire someone who's versed in it and knows kind of the ins and outs and the tactics of the different companies.
Okay, well, I think, first of all, that's, there are other lawyers out there who try to say they do this work. These aren't Social Security disability claims.
Correct.
These are ERISA claims. There's only a handful of lawyers around the country that even do this kind of work. But let's back up a second, because you were talking about the appeal, and look at it from the perspective of the claimant. We've seen thousands of denials, and not even just the cases we've handled, but the thousands of phone calls we've taken from people that have been denied or are having problems with their claims. So every day, we know basically every single thing that the disability insurance claims people are doing. Mm-hmm. We know how they're trained. We know what they're looking for. We know which doctors they're going to go to. We know what reasons they're going to come up with in order to deny a claim. And if there's a new one, we're on it, because someone's going to call us and say what it is. But I haven't seen a new one in 5 years, at least as a basis for denying the claim. So that's probably the biggest thing. You're an insured, you're a claimant trying to get benefits, and you're sick, and it's hard enough to try to take care of yourself on a daily basis and dealing with all the doctors. But our specialty is knowing what the disability insurance company is looking for in order to try to deny your claim, as opposed to trying to approve your claim. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that you got to realize you're going into a battle with an opponent that has far more training than you, far more experience, and your only thing that you bring to the table against them is to say, hey, I'm sick and this is what's wrong with me. But unfortunately, that's not going to be enough usually. The other thing you talked about on the appeal is, the advantage of having a lawyer at that stage, at the application stage, when you're just going to apply. What's the importance there of having a lawyer who's experienced?
In the application stage, you don't want to end up having to do an appeal. If you're at that, you're one step away from a courtroom. Like I said, this area of law, unfortunately, is very much in favor of the insurance companies on outcomes. So the strength of your claim initially is going to be that initial application, the information going in, the way it's presented, with the goal of getting you on claim. So there's an advantage because it sets up, because if it comes in and we're only at the denial letter and we're having to go through the appeal, anything that came before, we can't recreate information.
Right.
We can't pump new information. We can't present facts that have already been presented to an insurance company. And a lot of people have very good intentions, and they think that their company's going to do right, and they're giving all kinds of information. And a lot of times the insurance company will use that against them in some articulated way to establish that the cause of disability or the condition isn't resulting in disability as opposed to outside factors. So the application is, you really want to put your best foot forward, if you will.
Right, and it's not just like, here's a piece of paper, go ahead and fill it out and give it back to us. I mean, they don't create those forms to be in the best light of the claimant. They kind of make them bare bones, superficial, so that you send it in and they get the form, and they get a form from your doctor as well, and say, well, there's just not enough support. Well, of course there's no support, because you created a form that doesn't lend itself to dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's that we know the disability insurance company wants. So, one of the rare services that our firm offers that a lot don't is that we help with the application process so that we can get the person set up in the best position possible to get approved. And then obviously if they do get approved, continue handling that, making sure they get paid every month. And if they get denied, being able to roll right in with the foundation that we help them set in order to win the appeal. So, those are some fundamental reasons why it's important to have a lawyer at the application stage, at the appeal stage. Of course, if you get denied and you lose your appeal and then you need to file a lawsuit, well then whatever has been placed into the administrative record, which means everything that was in your file before that claim decision was made to cut you off, is what we have as lawyers to work with in order to prove your case. Nothing else can come into the record at that time. So no matter what stage your claim is at, feel free to call any of our lawyers. You can also email us through our free consultation form on our website. We'll provide you with a free consultation. We'll review your claim and let you know what we think we could do in order to assist you.